0, all engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome to Truth, Beer, and Podsequences.
Yay and choo-choo.
Yay and choo-choo indeed, Julia. So this is the first recording after our new Pope Leo was indoctrinated.
Mm-hmm, it's true.
Doesn't really have anything to do with anything.
Actually, technically, it's the second one. Since...
He was named... He was...
Oh, but he hadn't been officially...
He hadn't been inaugurated.
Oh, my bad. Okay,
He was inaugurated on Sunday.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Shows how much I pay attention to these matters.
Well, if only you went to Catholic school.
If only I paid attention when I was in Catholic school.
Same.
More likely, yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is a podcast where my co-host and I listen to and watch all the Cincinnati-based craft beer media and podcasts from the previous week. We get together to podcast host, and today we are back at Higher Gravity Summit Park. Thank you for being a gracious podcast host. My name is Marco. I'm in the alcohol space in the Cincinnati area. I used to brew beer for several years. The other voice you heard belongs to the best co-host in Podcastlandia.
I am Julia, and in addition to trying to plan trips to Cincinnati breweries, I also know that you should never try to Google what nature intended.
So, all the thoughts and opinions on this podcast are ours and ours alone. They do not reflect any entity which we may be affiliated with, such as full-time jobs, part-time jobs, third jobs, or Higher Gravity. If you want to get at us, you can get at us. You can find it in the show notes. We're pretty easy to find at Truth Beer Pod almost everywhere. The gnarly gnome can speak for himself.
If he was here.
If he was here, he's not.
He is not.
And he is not going to be here for this podcast because, as all of you who are long-time listeners know, the third Tuesday of the month is Kolsch Night. And so we are going to rip through this, and we are going to get over to Kolsch Night.
Yes.
And, I mean, we have, two pieces of content to cover?
We do.
So we've got at least 2 hours worth of talking.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is not what we schedule on a Kolsch Night.
No.
Over under how many times we mentioned Kolsch Night?
Over.
Sure.
13, yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, we've already done it 3 times or 4 times.
I know, and every time we say Kolsch Night, we're that much closer to going the over on Kolsch.
Yeah.
Night.
Kolsch Night.
Kolsch.
We talked about the Pope.
Yeah.
We did we're not like those fake ass podcasts out there.
That's true.
We are having beer,
True.
even though we're going to go and Kolsch it at Kolsch
So we're
Night.
having just a little beer.
Little beer.
Yeah.
Julia, what you drinking?
Scotty from Rhinegeist, their Scotch ale.
Yeah, I saw that, and then I ordered what is it, Mr. Fantastic, or that's super fantastic.
Super fantastic. Again,
Yeah.
You had that last week, last week. And you said
Well,
it wasn't super fantastic. It was just kind of good.
Just kind of good.
All right.
Yeah, it's just kind of good.
All right. Since we only have 2 pieces of content, Barstool Perspective and the Weekly Pint,
TWP.
you know Gnome.
Yep.
I think you guys know Gnome. You know who does know Gnome?
Who?
Our good friends from up north. I'm going to give them a huge shout out.
Let's go.
We had half-ass beer review. We had half of Banter and Babble, and we had the one, the only Dungeon Master from 70 Dungeons here in Cincinnati on Saturday. We got to show them some of the Northern Kentucky breweries because I figured those are going to be the farthest away, the last ones that they might ever traverse to on their own. So let's start there. We went to Fabled. We went to Wooden Cask. We went to Darkness. And I think everyone had a good time.
Yeah.
Although I did hear one complaint about the trip. Apparently they were upset that there was no malorting. The Northerners went and got dinner at Hofbrauhaus. And
The
they
Michiganders.
said, not all of them are Michigander. Although, you know what? Let's just throw Chris in there with them. We'll just say they're all Michiganders.
He's from Franklin.
Close enough.
Yeah.
It's farther north than Cincinnati, so it's practically Michigan.
Practically Michigan.
Practically.
Yeah.
They went to Hofbrauhaus and said, and we didn't get banned. And I said, well, then you didn't do a Cincinnati beer trip right.
No.
So they're going to have to do
not
better
how it
next
goes.
time. We'll have to figure out
Yeah.
some new way to get them banned from some of the establishments down here. But no, it was a good time, although I will say I'm a little bit disappointed. Chris only took a total of 8 countable sips during the entire trip. He was counting them out loud for me because I forgot my clicker.
Oh, really?
That's on me.
Okay.
He was counting them out. He would look at me and he
8
goes,
sips.
3. And I'm like, all right, cool. I don't have to count. You're doing it for me. 8. But you know what? Neither Tone nor Josh mentioned their sips. So technically they had none because none were counted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
got to give them a gift package of Dick's potato chips.
Yes, thank you so much to Dick's for providing the Michiganites and Chris with some Dick's to enjoy either at the hotel room or maybe they were enjoying Dick's on the drive home. I don't know.
They were just enjoying all the Dick's.
All the Dick's in all the places.
Yeah.
Regardless of if it was appropriate or not.
Right.
They probably went into Hofbrau and said, "Hey, we brought our own Dick's. Is that all right?" And
that would have got them arrested.
that probably would at least banned, maybe not arrested.
Yeah.
Although if they were whipping their dicks out, that could have gotten them arrested and banned. So guys,
Yes.
I think we figured out what they have to do next time they're here in Cincinnati.
What about their dicks?
Whip out the dicks and just enjoy them in a public establishment.
Sounds good.
But no, it was absolutely fantastic having them down here. I can't wait for the next time that we all get together, no matter if that's up north, down here, or somewhere in between.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Because it is Kolsch night, let's just go ahead and it's going to be a shorter episode like all Kolsch night episodes are, but we're still going to give you, a good attempt at some humor, at some recapery. And just having
Look, no
fun.
promises though.
No,
we're going to do what we do. So.
we at least have to make this episode last as long as it takes us to get through our beers, which for me is going to be 2 hours. So
Okay.
Do you want to get started with Barstool Perspective or the Weekly Pint?
Let's go with the Weekly Pint.
All right. Sorry, we're closed.
Yep.
Which
in our time frame.
In our time frame.
That was
correct.
last night.
Correct. The schnappening almost didn't happen.
Yeah.
He had to have a backup schnappening. You and Gnome also went to Party Source.
Oh, we did.
After,
yeah, that was fun. We had a good time.
After everyone kind of dispersed from darkness, and the original beverage that he purchased, and instead of drinking the weird milky shit for the schnappening, it is now smashed all over his driveway.
Yeah.
Maybe that's for the best. We don't know.
We don't know. So maybe one day we can find that bottle again and see if that was a
good or
a bad thing.
Yeah.
That it just decided to do a Hans off the top of the Yakatomi Towers.
What he chose for his backup schnappening, I don't know if it was that much better. Midori melon liqueur.
I've never had it at the place that I was working previously. We had a bottle and a half, and I felt like the whole time we worked there,
It was the same bottle and a half?
It was the same bottle and a half.
Probably.
Yeah.
He was not... Gnome didn't even know how it showed up in his house.
It's not... I can't believe it's meant to drink on its own.
And I can't believe it's not butter.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That was bad. Sorry, Tone. Don't laugh at that one. But yeah, so he tried the Midori and he said, "Oh, God." And then he threatened all of us with the next time that people show up at his abode, he is going to make Midori melon balls, which pretty much guarantees no one's ever showing up at the Gnome Bar again. Maybe.
Those don't sound that bad.
It could actually be pretty good.
Those don't sound that bad.
Those might not be that bad.
The purpose of that has to be as a mixer.
Oh, God, yeah.
Has to be.
Yeah, there's no way.
If he's making a cocktail or, letting fruit soak in it or something, that might be good.
Okay, yeah. Ooh, if it's a melon liqueur and it's, bright-ass green, maybe you take some honeydew balls and soak it in the Midori.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
We have figured it out.
Yeah.
We have answered the questions of the universe.
Hey now.
Now, be careful over there.
Got excited.
Get excited. I was just... and then for his drink of the night, he drank something else that was not a beer and that actually may be more sketchy than anyone ever thought. Smirnoff Ice Smash.
Smash.
Blue raspberry lemonade, although I am a little upset that he didn't get down on one knee and chug the whole thing as you do with typically anything Smirnoff Ice related.
Right.
But it was an 8% beverage in a 19-dew.
Yeah.
Which means he had more than 12 ounces.
That's correct.
And
See, that's the math, people.
Yes. What is so great about 19.2s?
It's more than 12 ounces.
100%. He smelled it like he does with all of his beverages. And he went, "This smells like my childhood. Disappointment, regret, and scabby knees." So he went, "This is not going to taste good." Because, scabs. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Festering wounds. No, thank you.
Ooh.
He took a couple sips and went, "Holy shit.
He really liked it.
So the Sorry We're Closed, the title of this episode is based off of 2 local tap rooms closing their doors. Both of them kind of quietly. Both of them, did not make any social media presence about this known until kind of well after the fact, almost, it felt like. Braxton, Cincinnati. Apparently they closed, the building's for sale, but it might not be the end of Braxton's taproom presence in Cincinnati.
Okay.
I think they're going to go up to Westchester, which is where everyone else in the world is going to. I could actually see Braxton doing a 50 West-esque kind of thing in like the Westchester, Mason, like that northern burb area, and working, depending on how they style the tap room.
Okay.
But we'll see. Nothing's really being said about it. This was all pure speculation. But yeah, the Braxton Cincy location, which was formerly 3 Points, is no more. I guess it's been closed for months, and no one ever really
been closed for
talked
several
about
months.
it. Yeah, quite a while. And Voodoo Cincinnati, which is the downtown location, also closed its doors, which means how the hell is Brewdog still open? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't know.
And he did give his opinions on why that tap room closed. Like, a lot of it was maybe the comfort of the tap room, which kind of made me wonder if because they were downtown, did they almost purposely make the tap room not as comfortable because they thought they were going to be running through customers faster. And so we don't want you to just sit around and drink and stay for hours when you can come in, have a beer or 2, leave, and then 2 more people can fill your space? Or was it just poor design management on all fronts?
I don't know. I mean, it's a franchise, so there's probably a franchise Bible in which they had to play by these rules.
Well, and that's what Gnome did say. He did say that they did have like these things that they had to do this way.
I apologize.
But I'm wondering
Steve Martin was a prop comic. The problem I had was that while the Weekly Pint was on, I was also actively making dinner. So it was on, and I was trying to pay attention, but I was in the middle of doing other things, so I missed a few things.
I was trying to watch the Weekly Pint and watch the newest episode, the live stream of the newest Shadow Spark Chronicles Dungeons and Dragons that Chris was DMing, which didn't work out too well. It was very hard to pay attention to 2 very, very separate bubbles of information.
Yeah.
So I will have to catch up on the end of
Sparkles.
7 Dungeons,
Sparkles
Dragons,
Chronicles.
Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives via the podcast, which I already have downloaded and queued up.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway. And then Casamigos.
Yeah.
Which, if the name sounds familiar, that's the tequila brand that Clooney was part owner of, or one of the... Whatever that whole celebrity...
Somehow...
Whatever.
A founder, owner, and then made $1 bajillion.
$1 when they
selling.
were bought out by one of the sketchiest, shadiest, allegedly, companies in the world, Diageo. Apparently, the tequila has had double-digit growth every year since 2019, but they are now being sued, they're involved in a lawsuit because they are being accused of it not being made from blue agave, which is what it says.
100%.
Apparently, they're saying
agave.
that it is, instead of being made from that, it's cane sugar, or at least not like
a portion
of it is cane sugar. So those are the allegations. And I don't know. I don't think I've ever had Casamigos. So it doesn't.
You haven't?
I don't think so.
You didn't have any here?
I think we always had the Terramana.
They don't have Terramana here anymore.
I did notice that. But yeah, I don't believe I ever.
Well is Jose Cuervo, and then you can call for Casamigos.
Okay.
Hate to break your heart, but
I would say that we would try it.
Clase
but
Azul also is not 100% agave.
God damn it! Breaking my heart
It's
here.
got added sugars and
Then
flavorings.
why is it so damn expensive?
Just because for
Aesthetic reasons.
this hype reasons, hype aesthetic
that's fair.
reasons. Yeah.
That's fair. The bottle costs a lot to make. Yeah.
It's tasty.
Yeah, it is tasty.
But it actually doesn't taste like agave.
Yeah. That's actually all of the notes that I took on the Weekly Pint.
There are very few actual tequilas that are out there that are
100%.
are willing to state that they're 100%.
Gotcha. I mean, that makes sense. Why not just kind of cover your ass,
Anywhere between 2 to 5% of other flavorings or other things is unfortunately far more common than the ones that are actually 100%.
I mean, I don't have any trouble believing that at all.
If you're 2 to 5% other things, just make it 100% of what it should be.
Yeah.
And then charge me 10% more.
That's true.
And at least
math adds up.
At least you can stand behind that.
That is a very good point. Before the sniff and sip count, did you have any other notes that you wanted to bring up on this episode of The Weekly Pint?
TWP.
You know Gnome.
No, and he did a great job of being close to on time.
It's true. It's true. It was 9:30-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's close.
It is the most fun to tune in live Monday nights on YouTube and Facebook, 9:30-ish, because, family life sometimes. It's not exactly at 9:30.
Right.
And it's a good time. There's a normal group of people that are in the chat, both on YouTube and on Facebook.
That's fun, too.
Hi, Christine.
Hi, Christine.
So good. And I apologize for calling you out on not telling us you were in town. I was under the assumption that you meant you were in town more recently than September. But
Oh, my.
next time you come into town, we would love to know. We would love to see if we can arrange schedules to at least have a drink with you somewhere.
Yeah.
Or
Drink.
high five you as you're walking out of a place and we're walking in or something.
Correct.
Something like that.
Correct.
Because we appreciate you. You are so much fun. And yeah, we love having you part of the Truth Beer Pot family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if we can't make that work out, maybe we can get Julio and Cameo, and then you can buy a Cameo or something.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Sniff and sip count for this episode.
Okay.
Same number for both. 7 sniffs and 7 sips. Oh my God, that's too many S's.
Yeah.
Yeah, my face doesn't know
All
how to do
right.
that.
7.
So in this 1
14
hour,
ounces.
yeah, in this 1 hour episode, 14 sips, or countables rather,
14 countables, 28 ounces.
1.75 pints, which, I mean, he had a 19.2, he had a shot of the Midori. That actually works out mathematically.
Works out pretty good.
It does work
Works
out
out
pretty
pretty
good. So
First day.
so
Learning how
yeah,
to use the mic.
so if you are going to listen or watch this episode after the fact, get yourself a 19.2 of your favorite beverage, and just drink 1.5 of those while watching, while listening.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome.
I could do that.
All right, Barstool Perspective from May the 16th of 2025. They started the episode by talking about the newest spicy TikTok trend, which doesn't actually sound, well, I'm not really a wine person, so I can't say it doesn't sound all that bad to me because, I don't know, I don't drink wine anyway.
Jalapenos and Sauv Blanc?
Yeah.
Sounds stupid.
I mean, most TikTok trends are. Like, the whole point of a TikTok trend is just to play stupid games and win stupid prizes, I feel like. They talked about Ozempic. It has cut users drinking by around 2/3. Mike talked about his Ozempic journey.
Which
His
wasn't,
little-
it didn't, I mean, it
Which,
he didn't say whether it worked for his physical ailment that he was taking it for, but it definitely didn't work for his
the drinking, yeah.
for the
Yeah.
drinking.
let's see, what did they move on to next? They gave their opinion. Is cannabis killing the alcohol industry?
This
In a
is because
word- Oh, good.
this is because what's his face over with the bar rescue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's saying that the cannabis industry is
Ruining the alcohol
kicking
industry.
the shit out of the alcohol industry.
Which, it's like, no.
I mean,
we've talked about this, I don't know how many times, but that cyclical nature of something new comes out, it kind of, air quotes, takes over a little bit. Look at what seltzers did when those first really hit the mainstream. I feel like it's a very
they're not going
similar
away.
thing. Right, no. But they're not killing the alcohol industry. No. There was just a tiny bit of tariff talk. Not
by the
much.
way, when you
Yes.
say killing the alcohol industry, just because beer in general as a category was down 4%
Mm-hmm.
last year, doesn't mean that the category is dead.
Correct.
It just means that it was down versus the year before.
So the bubble isn't bursting.
No.
You sure about that?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Now, some places may have hard decisions to make or feel the pain or the pinch or, it's just, it's life will go on. It's fine.
Yeah. AB InBev is investing $300 million to expand their production footprint.
Which has nothing to do with anything that our president said or did.
No. like, oh, it's part of, no, this has been in the works. This has been in planning for a long time. You don't just immediately decide, like,
Do you think a company
what?
the size of AB InBev just announces a 300?
They just decide, like, on like a Friday, you know what, we really should start on Monday? Let's drop $300 million.
$300 million. Yeah.
No.
Why don't we just put that out into the universe?
Right. They just
planned.
carefully timed when they decided to publicly announce what they are doing.
Yeah. And this is all this is all because they're trying to still
come back from the whole
come
Dylan
Back
Mulvaney.
from the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light stuff.
Just admit that you're the most, like, you're non-inclusive company out there in the beer store. Well, one of. I mean, I guess you could throw in a couple of other big names into
Founders.
that. Brewdog. But yeah, they're trying, but they're not coming back from that. Like, I think that the whiplash, like that whiplash effect, it's not. The people that were always going to go back to drinking their products are still drinking. They already did. Or they never stopped. And so it's, whatever they lost of that market share, they've already moved on to something new.
Yeah.
And they're not going to come back.
Nope.
And
not going to come back.
Yeah. So.
Nope. It's over.
Whatever.
But I say it's over, but it will continue on.
Oh, sure.
It will just continue
It's just not going to be like the king that, it once, claimed to be.
Bye, Felicia.
Peace out. Speaking of Felicia,
yeah,
women are drinking more because we're becoming the breadwinners of the household.
I can't argue with that. I can't.
Yeah.
And by the way, good on you.
Yeah.
Finally. I mean,
beer has no gender. I don't care what you say. I don't care what anyone wants to argue. Beer has no gender. It is everyone's
had a
beverage.
commercial on TV right here, right next to where we're sitting for lactation support.
Props to all the
lactators.
The lactators.
Agree.
Wow.
Props.
Wow. Hennessy is flailing. 30% workforce reduction. China is drinking less.
China.
Americans can't afford it anymore. And it impacts me in absolutely zero ways.
Yeah, zero.
Yeah.
Zero.
I mean, I've said this before with other, places. I don't like when a company is doing poorly and that means that people are losing their jobs, because it's not the CEOs losing their jobs. It's not the people who do not have to worry about
the CEOs lose their
paycheck.
jobs, but they
don't have to worry about their next paycheck.
They don't,
you know what I mean?
No,
or
they're fine.
Or like how to pay their next
They're totally
bill.
okay.
It's the people that are on the ground floor, the actual people doing the work to make things happen, that lose their jobs.
That was my sentiment years ago.
Yeah.
Where I said, I don't support AB InBev. I don't buy these products, but I believe everyone has the right to make a living, and so they have a lot of people working at those factories. They have a lot fewer people working at those facilities now after they have done what they've done, and they're going to go to robot automation and all this other whatever. But anyways, but yes, I agree. Like, places having to close or having to cut workforce because of a decline in business. Number one, it's nothing personal, it's just business. I get it. However, I want all those people, the people doing the jobs, the people on the ground, the people making the stuff happen. I hope that they find a way to keep going and to make a living.
Absolutely. Warren Buffett apparently buys Constellation stock, not Tilray, which means Tilray's still cheap, so buy it now.
Oh, my God.
Not hot. But yeah, so if you want to follow Warren Buffett, which, I mean, come on, what does he know about money and investing?
Yeah, really.
If you want to be, air quotes, successful, like him, buy Constellation, maybe.
Yeah.
Not
Nerds.
Tilray. Also, don't listen to us for any financial advice, because I obviously do not know what the hell I am doing. So I want to make sure that disclaimer is in there first and foremost. Cuba, sugar, and communists. It was a sugar rant that wasn't a sugar rant.
Yeah.
This time around.
Yeah. Not so sweet out there.
The rum market may be in peril, based off of all of these little things in one big mixing bowl.
It's called cachaça. Not the Cuban rum. The one that
yes.
Brett was trying to.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Cachaça.
Yeah. I'm sure that he appreciates your correct pronunciation.
I know he does.
Oh, absolutely.
I know
absolutely.
he does.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do we have here? 45% of alcohol sales are through convenience stores. Buzzballs for everyone.
Buzzballs. Julia, you've had buzzballs, right?
I actually have not. Maybe I'll ball one day.
Ballin'.
I just have not
Ballin'
as of
it.
yet.
So
I know that Tone likes to buzzball.
The gas station not far from my house, it's a newer gas station.
Mm-hmm.
They have an enormous buzzball display right by the door.
Do they have?
It's
so is
enormous.
Is it both an enormous buzzball display and do they have the enormous buzzballs? Because apparently
Yes.
buzzballs come in different sizes, which I was not aware of.
Yes.
I thought they were all like the single.
No, you've got
size.
like Christmas tree ornament size,
Yeah,
and then you have like
cantaloupe.
orb in your yard size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the water supply in California being poisoned? Allegedly.
They would
possibly.
never allege
No.
that the chemicals that are being sprayed on the grapes
Yeah.
at the Gallo vineyards are washing into the soil and then contaminating the water source. They would never claim that.
Well, because everyone knows that that's not how rain and water runoff with coatings and stuff works, right? It's physics, science, something.
Yeah. It's just some made up bullshit that the government is trying to keep them banned down.
Let's see, grain. So.
Oh my God. Okay, I don't know how much we want to talk about this, except to say is one of the most epic rants.
Yeah, I know we've said that before, but I really, really, really think that Brett talking about grain going down a sewer is one of the best monologues, I guess you could say, that they have ever put out there into the world.
It was amazing.
Seriously, watch and just like skip to near the end.
YouTube
just for
show
that.
exists for this rant.
100%. 100%.
I'm not we're not doing it justice.
No,
we're not doing ourselves
we
justice,
cannot.
by the way, because
But
we're trying to get out of here. But
we're trying to do the show justice by saying, because like our whole point of this show is to get you excited about the shows we talk about, so that you want to go watch them or listen to them, follow the content creators, support all the content creators that we talk about. That is our 100% goal for all of this. But we also get to have conversations about some of the topics that mean the most to us.
yes.
But yes, it was amazing. It was brilliant. It touched my soul in a way
It was
that
bretient.
It was, yes. Instead of sentient, it was bretient.
Bretient.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
And then it ended with me just not following the wholesale versus pro-V issue thing, but I was at work, so I kind of had to stop paying attention for the very end of the show.
So you have these two big distributor guys.
Okay.
And then you have this third one that came up with this kind of new idea to be able to be sort of like almost like a dating app for producers.
So,
right.
Okay.
And
Are you swiping left or right?
yeah, so the two bigger ones said, hey, this smaller one, they've got kind of a good idea and a good concept, and what's happening is they're starting to cut into our territory a little bit. And so the two who you would think are at odds with each other are actually not, because they are the two biggest, and they're fine with being the two biggest because they just, maintain their hugeness.
So you're not supposed to cross the streams, but they're crossing the streams. Or they typically don't like to cross.
Well, what happens is they didn't want a third. You know how that goes?
Yeah.
They didn't want a third.
Yep.
And then they got a third, and they're like, well,
Things just got
we need to
awkward.
figure things. Yeah, exactly. Things just got awkward.
Gotcha.
What really made it weird is once the third came in, parts started to touch, and like,
they were like,
everything
we can't have
we
this.
can't have,
Yeah.
Everything was fine, and then some of your parts started to touch, and
Yep.
so they were starting to, get that third one out, and the third one's like, wait, no, I can be here, I'm okay being here.
I don't mind that everything's touching.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And so
Okay.
they decided to sue the other two, because they said, I have a right to be here. I can be here, and my parts can touch and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And then so the other two companies decided that, you know what, we should probably just pay them off.
Allegedly.
Because what we're doing, actually, if they went all the way through with this, we might not be allowed to do this.
Yeah.
You know, we might not be allowed to be this huge. They decided to pay them off, and allegedly, and so that's where this entanglement is at.
All right. Well, that makes sense. Thank you for explaining it in verbiage that I can understand. You know, parts touching.
Yeah.
Parts touching, I understand.
Yeah.
Any other notes about this episode of Barstool Perspective before the sip count?
No, I think I said enough.
And then we also are ready to wrap up the show and head downtown.
Yeah.
Mike took 13 sips.
Okay, very good, Mike.
Brett took 19.
He has to beat Brett. Even though
Mike.
Brett has a larger schooner.
Mike has the schooner.
Mike has the schooner.
Wow.
Why don't
Wow.
I just
You like completely reverse the script here.
Yeah.
Do you even watch the show?
I
Or do you just listen so you don't know
no,
whose
what
voice
happened is
everyone belongs to?
No, what happened is that
All right, that is a total of 32 sips in this 34-minute episode. 64 ounces, 4 pints in 34 minutes. That's a growler in half an hour. That's a challenge. I could accept the challenge given the day. I could accept the challenge, but I would fail.
I don't think I would fail. I don't think I would like it, but I don't think I would fail.
I would not like it, and I would fail. Next week, when we're recording, it'll be our 200th episode.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
That's pretty fucking amazing.
Oh, hell yeah.
That is just regular, full-length episodes of Truth, Beer, and Consequences.
Right. That doesn't include the...
it does include our bonuses. It does not
and
include
it
the
doesn't
Cincy
include
Beer
the
events. It doesn't,
Cincy Beer events,
no.
yeah.
Or any of the YouTube stuff. It is 100% just these main core episodes.
Hell yeah.
Good God, we've been doing this for a long time. What's wrong with us? Well, before we wrap stuff up, do you have anything else you want to say to the peoples before I jump into the outro?
No, pay the whale, save the teachers.
Tip your bartenders. Be nice to your bartenders.
Yeah.
Be nice to the
Tip
people.
them over.
Well, only when necessary.
Yeah.
Yes. Huge shout out again to Chris, Tone, and Josh. Thank you so much for coming to Cincinnati and for indulging us in us taking you to a bunch of different places. And follow all of their content. Half-Ass Beer Review on YouTube. Absolutely amazing beer reviews and beer conversations. Banter and Babble on YouTube and Twitch. It is mostly pop culture talk, geekery, real life talk, all kinds of good stuff. It does focus a lot on the gaming aspect and the geekery aspect of life, but that is fun for me, so I absolutely love what they do. And 7 Dragons or 7D Dragons on YouTube and Twitch as well for absolutely amazing Dungeons and Dragons content.
And stay tuned for the Hacky Sack podcast. And
that is something that we are working on. And holy crap, it's going to be amazing. We may, you know what? I think that when we do our big group D&D campaign with them, one of my character skills is going to be excelling at Hacky Sack.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, very good.
All right. If you like what we've done in this episode, the usual shit. Like, subscribe, share, review. Go to truthbeerpod.com for links to absolutely everything, including how to sign up for our Patreon, where you will get unedited content. This is all of our episodes with nothing cut out except for silences when we get other drinks, go to the bathroom, that type of stuff.
At least 40% of the extra 60% is funny.
Elijah says so.
Yeah.
It's true. Shout out to Elijah. Shout out to all of our Patreons. We appreciate you so incredibly much. And yeah, you get episodes a day early. They come out on Thursdays for you, and nothing's cut out again except for the silences. Other than that, that's all I got. So, Marco, what are you going to be doing next Tuesday?
I plan on doing this, Julia, here with you.
Cheers. Sounds
Cheers.
good. I'll see you there. Bye.
See ya.
Kolsch.